I didn't come here to finish last. You know that. I came here to win this, and I'm in shape. The rest of these guys are not. Bodybuilders aren't in shape for this kind of stuff. You got to be strong. I'm the biggest man here, and I got to be the strongest.
9 of our 10 events will break down this way. 10 points for the winner, 7 for second, 4 for third, and a point for fourth.
Now this makes sense because I was looking over the final results and had no idea what happened. I was like, are most of the results just missing? Because this all looked like complete nonsense. There's all kinds of controversy with how to score strongman events, but I could say whatever the best theoretical statistical calculation is, this is not it. I mean, I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, hey, you're in the top 4, or we're not even like counting what you're doing. And they're giving a huge incentive to winning an event. So that all makes sense. But guys, there are plot holes in this scoring system that you could drive the Titanic through.
Our first event is the barrel lift. We'll start at 150 pounds. What's the key to lifting barrels?
Well, it's a very, very difficult thing. The athletes are going to have to bring the barrel from the ground to the chest. We call cleaning it. Then overhead. Now, that sounds easy. But the barrel is filled with lead shot and liquid. And this is going to be sloshing around all the time. And, of course, they're used to bringing a bar that's the inch and a 16th in diameter here with the weights on each end and pushing it overhead comfortably. Here's 2 feet here, and it's sloshing all the time. Boy, this is going to be exciting.
I think it's hilarious they brought Paul Anderson in. He is iconic. He's there because he's iconic, but he reminds me of the stereotypical Southern lawyer from like the Scopes monkey trial. Now, I just might be a simple country bumpkin, but mankind did not descend from monkeys. And his analysis hovers at about this level throughout the entire thing.
Exciting event.
Franco Colombo, the first competitor. When he cleans to his chest, he must hold it there for 2 seconds. Then when he presses to the top, he must also hold it there.
So on the one hand, you have a keg, which is awkward as all hell to press anyways. It's taxing to roll it up your body. You have to stabilize it. You have to lean way back, and then you have to press. But they decided to add layers here. They're like, hey, let's fill it with water and shot. So it's like a giant fucking slosh pipe. And also because all the judges there are guys that lifted through like the 40s and 50s, like Tommy Kono. They are all in the era of treating lifting as if it were gymnastics. Like they give points for style. So it's an unstable slosh pipe, but we're also going to be hyper anal retentive about how you press it. So you have to hold it for 2 seconds on your chest for God knows what reason. And you have to hold it for 2 seconds at lockout. And by the way, don't let us catch you using too much knee drive because this is a test of strength, by the way. Kind of reminds me of race walking. Have you ever seen race walking where you see the guys, they throw their elbows, they're trying to walk as fast as they can, but then the refs are out on the field and they'll like throw a card or something if they catch you breaking into a run.
Hold it. Hold it. He went through, but he did not pause at the chest, and there's going to be an inquiry. And here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, John, but the judges had a conference after your lift, and they had to rule that the lift was not acceptable because there wasn't sufficient pause at the chest. And a lot of us think it's harder to do it your way, but it didn't conform with the rule.
Now, it's not really a makeshift, random-ass thrown together strength contest unless you do have the hall monitors there making sure that a bunch of inane rules are followed. I mean, this is what gave us such essential components of powerlifting, like making sure your thumb loops can't be on your thumbs, making sure your socks can't be touching your knee sleeves. And some of these guys are still around. I've argued with guys that were like in their 80s who are just competent enough to get in on Facebook and argue in the comments about why Eddie Hall isn't shit because he picks his head up when he benches. And in my day, men lifted weights like men. They wore suits when they got on airplanes and they kept their heels down on the ground when they benched. So for as much as you might complain about standardization of lifting today, just be thankful it's not this. Now let me give you some insight on who just got negged for his 200-pound slosh pipe clean and press because he had the audacity to one motion it. This is John Cole, and I don't know how his name isn't plastered everywhere today because not only was this monster an all-arounder. I mean, he was a discus and shot put record holder at Arizona State University. He competed in powerlifting, Olympic lifting, track and field at the same time. He was said to have ran a 100-yard dash at 9.9 seconds, weighing almost 260 pounds. Not only could he clean and press 430 pounds, but he was the first guy to squat 900, total 2,200 and total 2,300 pounds. And this is long before you had such thing as like a first generation single ply suit.
Here is the biggest man in our competition. 326-pound Bruce Wilhelm. Stands 6'3" and a half. With very little effort, Bruce Wilhelm.
Now, we just saw Bruce Wilhelm manhandle the keg. A little shout out to Brucey here, who's the biggest guy here. He's 6'2", like 325, 330. He was a wrestling champ. He threw shot put. He was a CIF state champ in 1963. He was a super heavyweight weightlifting champ, taking silver at the Pan Am Games in 1976. And he was the first American to snatch 400 pounds. From all the people I've talked to and interviewed over the years, the consensus seems to be that if you want to take strongman as far as you can, it really, really, really helps to have a deep athletic background.
He's finding that barrel as difficult as he might find Alan Page across the line of scrimmage from him. Now, I think that St. Louis Cardinal guard's got it this time. He does.
So this Moosey is Bob Young, who played pro football from the 60s through the 70s into the early 80s. Now, while he was not a very accomplished lifter specifically, he was a football player, his brother was none other than legendary bench presser powerlifter Doug Young. So that tells you what kind of gene pool they're working with. And Bob and Doug trained together for quite a while.
Cleans it to his chest. He told me before we started that he's got a very painful back.
Hold it.
Got it up easily, though, didn't he? Let's press straight up. He had quite a dip there. Now, it's up to the judges to decide whether that was an excessive knee jerk or not. And Ferrigno has been declared out.
Now, I think that's a bad call, and it's not just because the sport went the other direction and they're like, hey, every overhead event is going to be whatever the hell you can do to get it up over your head. But this event, particularly the water and the shot, I want to see a max jerk on a slosh pipe. Bruce Wilhelm had like a 550 jerk. I want to see him do a maximal jerk on a slosh pipe.
Solid.
Al Conley will tell him when he can go, and he says, go ahead. And George Flynn will go on to the next round. And to get it up to the top, won't make it.
So now everybody's out at 200. The other genius thing they did was make 50-pound jumps on this unstable foreign movement that nobody was used to. So now we're going to see Brucey Bruce.
And folks, Bruce Wilhelm is serious. He has taken off his sunglasses. Ambushed. He has put it up on one end, changed his style. Now he's got to steady up and await the signal.
How much time we got?
You've got enough time for one final big effort. He's got a chance this time, but he's got to beat that clock. Hurry now, Bruce. Must hold it there, and he's done it.
Bruce, that one surprised you. I think you guys are going to jerk that one right up.
I thought it was going to be a piece of cake, too. I don't know what's the matter.
What's going to be the limit?
God, I hope no one does it. That's all I can say.
And he is out.
Beat them!
Man, off to a roaring start. You didn't want to go any further.
Nope, that's it. Not want to go any further. Undisputed champ.
Isn't that energy something special? Like, even in today's field, like the jovial or like kind of hyper engaging personalities, they're not quite like this. He looks like he should be hanging out with like the Belushi brothers. You're going to see as this goes on, Bruce had like a really infectious personality. And I got to believe that had a lot to do with the early success of World's Strongest Man.
But there's a long way to go here,
God,
Dr. Wilhelm.
Don't tell me about it. I know, I'm panicked. I like to start hard and finish easy.
I'm going to put that on a shirt. I like to start hard and finish easy. Already we see the point fuckery. Wilhelm takes it, so he gets 10 points. Everybody who hit the 200 keg had to split points because there was nothing separating. So you got a bunch of threes. All right, now we're getting into the barbend event, and I just want you to soak this in. Soak in the colors. Everybody is in bright, skin-tight singlets. You got the big, I don't know if that's inflated or somebody actually sculpted a giant, corny, like bodybuilder flexing. They got the director chairs in the background. I feel like they're just missing some card girls. This is showmanship.
May touch any other part of his body or other external support, and the contestant's hands must remain at the ends of the bar at all times during this bend, and he must remain in a reasonably upright position. Bend! Oh, much too easy. Somebody reached for those larger bars.
Franco, you're the only one using your teeth. Why do you do it that way?
I did this way before, and I have a good leverage doing it this way. It's more dangerous, but looks bad.
Look, you got a short Italian guy who is swapping girlfriends with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 70s. I'm sure he's using every advantage he can get, and his teeth are probably one of them.
And each of those bars this time, 5/8 inches in diameter. The time limit's 90 seconds.
Okay, this is where it gets crazy. The 5/8 inch bar is where everybody strains. And I couldn't help but think about Kazmaier tearing his pec on the bar bend. When you see these guys, the awkward position they're in, the torque they're putting on their shoulders that they're certainly not used to. And if you want to find the best way to get injured, take somebody who's very, very strong in one way and have them go max effort on some other way.
Come on, baby.
Our men of muscle may have met their match. And that foul is against George Friend. You can see those elbows draped over the ends of the bar. He's out.
Now we got to give a little aside about George Friend here. I don't know if you can see, but I got that framed picture of George Friend on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He was a hammer throwing monster, world record holder at the time. And he was one of the OG members of the Culver City Westside Barbell. You know, the one that Louis Simmons loved so much, he borrowed their methodologies and then borrowed their name. George Friend is such a fucking character. I have a video scripted about him specifically. I just haven't got to yet. George Friend was competing in the early days of powerlifting. His heyday was probably 10 years before this, and he was the first guy to hit 2,100 pounds in the total. He had an 853 squat in the 1960s. Also notorious, him and the Westside Crew, for cheating. They were the guys that first pioneered wrapping your body in bed sheets. You know, early powerlifting in the 60s, there aren't really rules. Nobody's checking this stuff. So they're like, hey, how about we wear 6 extra small t-shirts? How about we wrap our body in bed sheets? How about we use ace bandages and wrap tennis balls behind our knees? They were doing everything they could. Was that responsible for their early success? Probably. But I'd also tell you to see how many bed sheets it takes to get an 850 squat up from a bottom position. The dude was strong and he was an absolute freak athlete. And I just had to bet you that because I had gone into this assuming if there was a way Friend could cheat, he was going to do it. And there he is at the back. He's like, they can't watch everybody throwing his arms over the bar to try and get leverage. And he's just going to go sit at his director chair and be like, this is a dumb event anyways.
Of the bar. He's out of the... Bruce Wilhelm, who won the first week, trying to grab 10 more points. Less than 30 seconds left. Now, if none of our strongmen can get the ends of that bar within at least 8 inches of each other, then whoever comes the closest would be judged the winner.
I'll preface this by saying I'm talking out of my ass. I have no specific information on what is required for bar bending. I imagine strong hands and forearms to start because that's what stabilizes it from popping out. And it seems like no matter what position you're in, it's a lot of pectoral strength. It looks like a max effort fly. Of course, that's where Kazmaier injured himself, so it stands to reason that's where the tension's the highest. Probably more so if you've never done it before. Like, this reminds me a lot of like the type of side pressure that arm wrestlers have to get used to that is just unlike anything you've ever done until you do it.
Bruce Wilhelm, 29.5 inches. Ken Patera, 34 inches. 24 and a quarter inches. No, it's beyond 3 feet.
Watching them all line up to like show their work. It's like when you're in school and they grade your project in front of the rest of the class and you're like, did I do good enough? And the teacher's like, no, you didn't. It's also worth noting some of the strong guys here, they were beasts, but they're also outside of their prime. John Cole, Ken Patera was already wrestling at this point. They're not the performers that they were. And the setup for the contest, it's 10 weeks. You're competing in one event every week for 10 weeks. Nobody who's actively competing throughout the year at a high level, especially in multiple different sports, is going to commit to this. So I think they had to get some guys that were either they had the flexibility or maybe they were on their way out from serious competition. But the two bodybuilders taking it, this validates what I've been saying for a long time. The wider your base is, the higher your potential peak can be. Bodybuilders have the widest base, and when they take it to the nth degree, it can even usurp the abilities of some people that are actually specialists. I've been saying it over and over. That's why I named my book Base Strength. Too many people specialize too early. Base Strength is about the development of a base, finding good progressions with solid exercises, working your weak points while also building a wide, varied base of muscle mass and physical ability. Now, you can get my book at BaseStrength.com, but if you want my programs, which are derived from the programs of the best of all time, things that people have done for the last 80 years or more. If you want those programs made simple, easy to follow, idiot proof, and most importantly, personalized to you, check out Base Strength AI. It is not generative AI. This is my programming with your feedback. It adjusts the volume and the weight minute to minute, week to week, and it just couldn't be easier. It's going to make sure that you stay in the pocket, you're not running yourself ragged, but you're also not leaving too much in the tank. Or you can go back to your online coach. So when you get stuck in your training program, you can send that text message and pray that he's going to get back to you in the next 36 hours. Having Base Strength AI, it's like having me in your back pocket, which should be enough of a selling point by itself. It's my programming, but it's your program. Let me think so that you can grow. Go to Base Strength AI right now.
100 pounds. The apparatus, another 10 pounds. 10 feet to the top.
What do you guys think about the wrist roll event? I used to hate the idea of the wrist roller event. And if I ever did one, I would be like the guys here where I have that look on my face like, this is dumb. I don't care. Probably as a cope because I knew I wouldn't do well in it. But I always said like a wrist roll, you're going to do this big event over just this little action right here. Like if you're going to test wrist and hand and forearm strength, aren't there like more interesting ways to do it? But I'm not going to lie, having them all standing on the platform where you have the little guy going up like it's the carnival game where you have to squirt the gun into the clown's mouth to like make the thing go up. This is kind of cool. I could see myself cheering for this. Not having seen the results here, I would guess that bodybuilders get the most raw stimulation on their forearms and the most conditioning. So unless somebody is an absolute grip specialist monster, I would give it to the bodybuilders here. Of course, I was lying. I absolutely did see the event already.
Starts them on their way. Ken Patera takes a quick lead. John Cole and Bob Young appear to be out of it. Here's Patera, his winning time, 36.6. Lou Ferrigno is second, 39.9 is his time.
So usually you do the sportsmanlike thing after you dominate an event and you hang around and cheer on everybody else. But Patera is like, bro, I'm out of here. I need a brewski. Ferrigno's got to get out because he knows he has a chance. And then you look at Cole and Young. Young's like, I'm a football player. This is about as far away from anything that I would ever even consider doing in my free time, let alone in a singlet on a platform in front of a bunch of people at Universal Studios. The level of I don't give a fuck here is palpable.
Dayton will go without any gloves, as will Colombo. They begin, and Dayton takes a lead. Oh, close for second. Colombo.
Just take a second to appreciate this power stance. You want to know a true competitor, they're not afraid to look like they're riding an imaginary pony in order to win.
Colombo and Wilhelm are very tight right now. Dayton's still ahead by about a foot. Flynn trails this field. Winner, Wilhelm trying to come back. Colombo trying to hold on. For Mike Dayton, 25-3, and he will go to the final with Franco Colombo second.
That makes little sense for Dayton. He's a guy known for bending quarters with his fingers. I expected him to have some nasty forearms here. Now, as if this event was not underwhelming enough, they had a finals. They took the top guys from each one and had them do it again instead of just calculating the best times. Place your bets, boys.
Mike Dayton, who turned in that sensational time with the lead over Franco Colombo and Lou Ferrigno. closing in now. So close between Dayton and Colombo. Colombo thinks he's won. The hammer throwers aren't up here. It's you two bodybuilders. Can you keep it up?
Yes, because Franco and I want to really promote the sport of bodybuilding. We want to show that bodybuilders are strong as well as being great athletes.
I don't think you never know what happens next.
I think somebody needs to clip that. Can anybody think of a better graphic to put under a video of Mike Israetel lifting weights?
We want to show that bodybuilders are strong as well as being great athletes.
Commissioner of Power Paul Anderson, this is about to test everything that a man's got.
Entire body, grip first, arms, legs, back, something like this. The athletes will pick the wheelbarrow up, lean into it, go forward like this, and move out, and
That's good, Paul. That's a good demonstration.
Paul really wanted to feel like one of the big boys again. The funny thing is I was chopping this up at like 2 or 3x speed, so it looked like he was hauling ass with it. And then I watched it and I was like, bro, I've seen people leave Golden Corral faster than that.
Dayton in lane 3 with the lead. Cole coming back. Look at those rippling arm muscles. The two fastest finishers will qualify for the four-man final. Colombo battling for second, Cole the winner, and Franco Colombo grabs second.
I think Fren up there was in that I don't give a fuck space about this event. Now, this is light by modern frame or wheelbarrow standards because it's 750, so it's a few hundred pounds in hand. However, it is uphill, and when it's lighter and you can haul ass, it does tend to wobble on you. So having to lean in, sprint uphill with the weight in your hands for it is a pretty long course. That's not easy. That's not easy. And any event that involves driving your weight forward, body weight is just, it's a huge advantage here. Truck pulls, wheelbarrows, and so on. This isn't heavy enough to tax grip. This is just really like who can lean forward and drive their feet. And having just said that, I realized Franco just took second in this heat. So what the fuck do I know?
How tough a course is that?
craziness.
I'm going to say John Cole's capacity probably wasn't fantastic when he was at the height of his powerlifting superstardom. I actually would have been surprised if in preparation for this, he actually went and started doing sprints up bleachers. I think this is right in line with my analysis of the Power Stairs medley at the Rogue Invitational. Again, I don't know what this guy was or wasn't doing, but I'll just say this. If aspirin was known for having a side effect called aspirin lungs, I'd probably tell you not to take aspirin before a wheelbarrow event. Do with that information what you will.
Kenny Patera. They begin heat 2. Lou Ferrigno is in lane 1. They've got to keep those wheelbarrows right in their lanes. He was weaving outside, but Bruce Wilhelm has taken charge. Young and Patera collided. Wilhelm the winner, and Ferrigno's lost control at the finish.
I'm just a bull, you know that. I've got to win this. I've got to.
You've got to come back now in the second heat, though, and
Yeah,
John Cole looked pretty impressive.
That's unfortunate, isn't it? Well, we'll just have to do the best we can. I really haven't practiced this. This just shows what an Olympic weightlifter does. And this is exactly where we're heading for victory.
Patera off well. Here's Wilhelm. Patera and Cole dueling, but Wilhelm again explodes. But so close for second, and Patera comes across. Big guy, you have made that event look awfully easy.
Well, I don't know. My knee's a little sore now. I banged it on the other one, but I wanted to win it to once again prove the superiority of the athletic Olympic lifter.
All right, Kenny, you wind up second. Great effort there at the end.
Oh, thank you. You know, I'm a competitor, and whatever this thing after 10 events proves, I don't know what it's going to prove, but I'm going to say that there's 8 guys here. I have to take my hat off to all of them because this is something that you really can't train for.
You got to try and get in the head of these guys who spend their entire lives competing at some of the highest levels available to them in multiple different sports. These are all disciplines with their own history, their own rule book, their own technical approaches, and every time you go to compete, it's against hundreds of other guys who have been drilling that one thing for their entire life. So to get recruited after reaching those heights and being known for being who you are, To go and do this, for many of them, it had to feel like just a fun 10 weeks. Yeah, I'll do it for a TV show. Who cares? I feel like a lot of them didn't think very highly of the contest. They were just excited to be on TV and do something fun. But you see their egos start to come through a little bit when they don't do well. So they start talking shit a little bit, but it's kind of a half truth. Like they are a little bit sore. It's like, yeah, whatever this proves, whatever this thing is, I don't know. And it didn't really click the first time I saw it, but I remember that interview with Doug Young when he's talking about, yeah, I'm not going to go flip cars. I'm not a clown. It didn't click at the time that his brother was in the first World's Strongest Man. So I wish I could be a fly on that wall and hear about the shit talking that went back and forth. Next up, we got the tire throw. And this is another one I would have thought of as a throwaway event. It's like, if you're going to do a throw, at least do something that's compact enough that you can put maximal power into it, like you can with a keg or a weight for height or something. When it gets bigger, weird, awkward, and tires are awkward to throw, I'm like, it's just, I don't know. There's too many things working against what it's trying to prove. However, this field is filled with like 4 or 5 guys that have deep competitive records doing actual throwing, not just like trying to muscle something up, but actually learning how to spin and rotate and build momentum. And they apply that to the tire pretty damn well. So knowing that going into this, it actually made this event a lot more interesting than I think if I would have watched it in any other context.
The top 4 tosses in the first qualifying round. Here's Bob Young of the St. Louis Cardinals.
So that's kind of the lazy spin. That's when you don't really know how to spin. This reminds me of when they took the shitty linemen from football in high school and made them go out for track and field. We didn't have much of a track team. And of course, I was on that list and I had no earthly idea. I could barely run. Like I was going to get the spin down. But you see this kind of just lazy da-da-da-da, da-da. Da, 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 da. Now he's still got some mustard on that, even without getting that really tight spin that builds up so much momentum. To 34 feet, 10 inches. Let's see what happens when some of the more technical guys get their hands on this.
Fills at 36, 1.5. To the left side. Measured at 36.6. For this event. Friends toss 37-11 3/4, our best so far.
Okay, so this is kind of cool right here because all the guys are using 2 arms. I don't know what the tire weighs, 30-ish, 25, 30 pounds, but it's heavy enough where you think, okay, you should use 2 arms. However, when you hold this big thing with 2 arms, it limits how far away from your body it can get. Some thrower or like physics doctorate is going to check my work in the comments. Please do. If I'm full of shit, please check me in the comments. But my brain's telling me this is right, so that's what I'm going to go with. So imagine you're holding something out away from you, and that thing's, I don't know, a foot away from you. However fast you're spinning, that thing is moving faster. The further out it gets, the faster it moves, assuming you're moving at the same speed. So you want the thing further out in front. This is one of the reasons hammer throwers can just get so much distance, because when that thing's all the way around, you can get some crazy speed on it. Now it looks like holding the thing with 2 hands is going to limit how much you can open up and let that thing away from you. Now you take the guy known for the discus, and he's a power lifter, so he's got the upper body that's actually like durable enough, because that's the trade-off. Can your arm, pec, and shoulder joint handle those forces as you spin with, 30 pounds out to the side? And that's a pretty tight spin. God, that's probably one of the most impressive things from this contest.
Great throw and a good toss. That could be the best so far.
39 feet,
It is.
10.25 inches.
Oh, jumps to the top of the heap.
When you compare people that don't know what the fuck they're doing to people that do know what they're doing, it should be self-evident why you want people to be able to specialize in things. There's still this core of recreational strongman fans that romanticize people going out and doing something they've never done. Not only do you get worse performances, you increase the likelihood of injury, but look at the side-by-side. Watch Ken Patera throw that again.
How's that? You don't think...
Now, watch the guys that don't know what the fuck they're doing throw it.
No, he fouled out, stepped over the arc, and the smaller men were never in the hunt. He just could not get a good grip on this tire.
Was that fun for anybody? So this is why I'm always like slapping my head against like mystery events and shit. I don't think from a competitor or spectator perspective, it is interesting to test people in things that they have no experience in. But that's just me.
But George Friend holds the world's record in the 56-pound weight throw and the 36 and the 35-pound weight throw, so I'm looking for him to really pop one. But I just hope to win.
Paul Anderson's officials are set to go to work. John Terpak, Bob Heiss, Tommy.
Now, the thing about Fred is that psychology was absolutely huge, not just because of early powerlifting days and how competitive that was, but even the hammer throwing scene from the 60s that he was a part of. There's stories of like the wives talking shit to the other players. There's a story of George's mentor, Harold Connolly, who I think is an official at this event, getting beat by a younger guy, and he walks up and says, "I beat you, old man," and spits in his face. Like, it was brutal. And Friend had a problem with scratching, so he got his psychotherapist friend to like help him work through his problems and develop a mindset for being more consistent. So I think about all of this when I see Friend nut up for a big throw. One of my favorite stories about him, though, is how he got under the skin of this rival named Burke. And this isn't some anecdote. This is straight out of Sports Illustrated. At a meet that Burke was competing in, George was not throwing at. George showed up just to harass him. He brought his dog, walked up to Burke and said, "Hey, I want you to meet my dog. His name's Burke. I named him after you." As the article goes, for the rest of the afternoon, every time Burke picked up his weight, there was Friend yelling, "Hey, Burke, come over here and sit down. Burke, cut that out. Burke, quit licking my face." Burke the human didn't do very well in that meet. The story goes that these tactics pushed Burke into an early retirement. Friend impishly responded to this saying, "Gosh, I didn't think it bothered him. Besides, I was very good to that dog."
Tommy Kono, Russ Niff, Hal Connolly will be judging this effort by George Friend. We have got 3 Olympic gold medalists among our officials. They're all experts in the various areas of strength. Now there is Niff watching Friend to see if he fouls. That circle he'll be spinning in, similar to what they use for a shot put or a discus. Friend, of course, a hammer throw champion, and prior to him, it was Hal Connolly, our director of events, who dominated that event.
Come on. Show him. Come on, you can do it.
Yeah! After that Mark Goodrich-like conversation to that tire, Friend got it out there. 41. Man, that is the best so far. It exceeds 40 feet. Good toss. Kenny Patera with a chance. You did get it out there, big guy. Get it out!
All right. All right. 41.
Our winner, Kenny Patera.
I would have loved to see what Friend could have done while he was preparing for the Olympic trials. I would have loved to see what Patera could have put together if he was around the capacity of a 500 clean and jerk.
Clutch, I can't believe it.
Enough of these guys. Brent, give me this here. Let me talk to Ken. I think I ought to take care of the mic. I think we ought to do the talking here. We don't need any more of this. Ken, let me congratulate you. Fine throw. I'm glad to see it.
I appreciate it.
What were you thinking about when you did that tremendous throw?
Well, the only thing that I was thinking of was that you have 21 points and I had 11.
No doubt about it. I'm the greatest here so far, and we're trying to get you up there in second place. Do you think there's any possibility of overcoming my magnanimous lead?
You're still convinced that I'm in second place. Now, I'm going to tell you, whatever the outcome of this thing is, I'm going to challenge you in Madison Square Garden to a no-holds-bar, no time limit match.
Let me hope your insurance policy is paid up. There won't be enough of you left to feed the fishes back there.
And I'll tell
That's great, man. There isn't anything like that in competition today. It's like it's genuine shit talking, but like with camaraderie, where like they obviously want to do well and win. The way Michael Jordan wanted to play people for quarters because he wanted their money in his pocket. That never goes away, even if you don't take the event that seriously. But the attitude, the lightheartedness, like they don't mind dicking around. And I wonder why that's gone. I'm going to say it. I think the sport attracts a lot more people who aren't as socially inclined. That combined with internet culture, I think people take themselves way too seriously. I don't know. We need to start a charity, man. We got to figure out how to socialize strongman.
Hal Connolly starts them. Both men have got the tram moving. It's a race against that clock. Young with a slight lead over Patera. Very close. Young now beginning to pull away, and he wins it in 16-8.
You'd expect the football player to dominate this. This is a drill they used to have us do in like a speed camp. They'd strap two athletes end to end and have them practice keeping their hips low and drive away from each other. It was kind of like a tug of war, but you're pulling the opposite direction.
For years, these two men have gone head-to-head in AAU weightlifting competitions. Now they're pulling an 8,400-pound tram. Cole trying to get it underway. Friend is going. George Friend with an early lead. Friend should be able to hold on here against Cole. Listen to Cole. What a comeback by John Cole.
I knew that looked familiar.
Hal Conley has got them underway. Bob Young, 16.8 is the time they're shooting at. Wilhelm moving easily. Wilhelm driving toward the finish. We have got a new leader. 26 flat. That away, Franco.
The announcer was so condescending to Franco the entire time. I think he called him a good little guy like 4 times.
So you take the lead.
Well, I hope so. I hope we can maintain it. Once again, prove the superiority of the big man, the Olympic lifter, over all the bodybuilders and powerlifters. Why? There's no doubt about it. These are 4 of the strongest men I've ever laid eyes on. Of course, right behind me, though. Let me make that perfectly clear.
Kenny, even though you finished second in the heat, you wind up third overall.
Well, I have to admit, I have to take my hat off to this man. You know, he's used to running with his legs and stuff, so he deserved where he got. But I still say that 40 pounds of fat shouldn't make that much difference for
This man is absolutely sick. There's no question about it. I am the best man here. This man's
Let them
crazy.
go on and on, Mike. The good little man is right up there, finishing high.
Pound for pound, I think I'm beating these people here.
Get that pussy out of here.
We don't want to hear that, Mike. We don't.
Man's a bodybuilder. Get him out of here.
And
Same as ever. Nobody wants to hear from the bodybuilders. Even Kepatera, who was a super heavyweight, is bitching about Bruce being fat. And even he's like, get out of here, bodybuilder. I don't want to hear that trash. That is some very powerful historical insight there. Since the beginning, literally the very first World's Strongest Man contest, small guys have been coping with pound for pound strength as an argument. Now, to be fair, like I said with the wheelbarrow, a trample, especially with no rope to keep your body weight close to the ground to optimize leverage, it is hugely about weight. The joke they used to make when I was coming up was like, yeah, when they're not looking, you got to put some rocks in your pocket, because literally it's an asset. I mean, if you do a truck pull forward and then you do the same thing with like a 50-pound weighted vest, like, I mean, you'll be sucking wind, you might have a heart attack, but you will put up a much faster time. And that was evident by Bruce being able to just lean forward and run where everybody else was getting their hips pulled way back because of the angle of the strap. And this is why like Terry Hollins was always one of the best in the world, because he had A, the benefit of the rugby background, while B, being one of the bigger guys on the field who was also athletic. All right, now we're getting into the car deadlift. It is still hard for me to watch because every aspect of this is an injury waiting to happen. Every single bit. They just gave them the back of a vehicle, said, hey, grab the bumper with a like cocked wrist monkey grip and just throw your weight into it with all the tension on your bicep tendons and hope for the best.
the total weight of the automobile is 2,284 pounds. So far, 6 men have made it. We are down to the last 2 in this round.
Well, hold on just a second here. If it's the whole thing's 2,300 pounds and some change, most of the weight's in the front. Of course, ChatGPT is infallible, so we will be asking them for all of the information. We knew it was a Datsun. So look at all this deep thinking. They got the overall length, they got the center of mass, they got physics formulas. They estimated between 600 to 800 pounds in hand.
Franco Colombo with his back to you, wearing the green. George Friend in the blue. Hal Conley will start them. 60 seconds, and Colombo gets it done in a hurry. George Friend also goes to the next round. Friend may have injured that right arm. Friend appears to be in pain. The physical therapist, Lewis Paul, coming out to tend to George.
Who could have seen that coming? Who could have seen grabbing with a cocked wrist like a monkey grip, bicep fully exposed, jumping all of your weight forward into a violent lockout with a car in front of you, that could have gone sideways? The crazy thing is, this exact position is how everybody loses their bicep with tire flips, which is why you don't really see them anymore. And tires aren't nearly this heavy. It's just explosive, so you deal with all of that when you pop into it. But to take this much weight in that position, that's like, ugh, no thank you.
Problem regarding George Friend here.
Let me just try it. If I think I'm in too much pain, I'll stop.
George, let's not try it. The medical expert says no, and I'm going to have to say no. I'm going to have to say no. He says no.
He's pissed. He's not even looking Paul Anderson in the face. I gotta say, lost a little respect for Paul Anderson here. Like, what's he saving his bicep for? The next Olympics he's not going to? Now, this also fits with George Friend's history. In '64, he had a back injury that cost him his place at the Olympics, and the doctors wanted to operate to remove a disc, and he was just like, fuck that. I think I'll just stretch and then deadlift some more, which worked out because he went on to put 200 pounds on his deadlift. On the last throw of a qualifying meet, George got the hammer caught on his glove, and the force of the spin caused him to trip, and it fractured one of his legs. He started quarter squatting 4 weeks later, and then went to a meet where he squatted 600 and pulled 585, still wearing the cast. Yeah, George was a real one.
George, you cannot look.
George Friend is out of this event. This time, 300 pounds will be added to the base weight so that the total weight of the car is 2,384 pounds. Officials John Terpak, Bob Heist, Tommy Kono, Russell Nip, they will raise high the white flag signaling a good lift. Wilhelm has advanced.
It's going.
Specializes in.
Come on, let's go.
Perfect example right there. No difficulty in bringing that weight off the ground, and Ferrigno advances. So the judges can see daylight and lift the white flag. Young with the second effort. 2 pounds, yet he's...
So notice too, as impressive as this is, even if it's, let's say 600 pounds, 700 pounds in hand, whatever it is, the suspension also makes up a huge part because like right here, this is Bob Young. The tires are still on the ground right there. The suspension just got taken off. So really it's just that last little bit of lockout where you're taking the full weight of the vehicle. And depending how far away your hips are in that position, that's going to determine whether or not you're going to get a good lockout. Now, the hack position is mechanically better as long as you have the basic leg strength and coordination to do it, just because that puts your hips really close to the weight and your knees relatively close.
He's our only strawman who ever boxed professionally.
I didn't realize how much of an Oompa Loompa Columbu was.
He's our only strawman who ever boxed professionally. Good. Got his glove caught there for a moment in California.
So look right here, like look at where Bruce's butt is, right? He's trying to get the hardest part where you take all the weight. He's still really bent over and his butt's all the way back. I mean, to lock this out would have been monumental. I mean, this would have been locking out a Good Morning with, 700 pounds.
Mighty groan, but he didn't get it. And Wilhelm Drops, also an excellent athlete. He makes it. Ferrigno goes to the next round. 2,584 pounds, which is the total weight of the car. Experiencing strongmen say this.
You know John Cole's pissed. He's like, there's no effing way I'm letting these little prima donna bodybuilders pick up a heavier weight than me.
This event should be handled. And with a burst of energy, Cole also goes ahead.
Yeah, that's risky, just jumping to a completely awkward movement like that, going max effort. We see that on Instagram all the time with the meme lifters trying to like make something popular, and then every now and then some big lifter tries it and they get hurt. Like I remember guys try the Jefferson deadlift backs out. It's like, I've never done this before. Let me try to pull 800 pounds. Oh shit, I tore my groin. Preparedness is not something to be underestimated.
Cole and Ferrigno. He's done it again. Is there no end to what Louis Ferrigno can accomplish here? Got a chance. Yeah, he's got it. Ferrigno's shoulders. Straining away, Ferrigno makes it.
So the drive from this, I mean, that's quad strength. There's no way about it. And that's why Ferrigno can hang, because his overall squat isn't great. His overall deadlift isn't great relative to these guys. But all of the quad specific work, I mean, it's a hack squat. That's what it is. So this is more similar to movements he's comfortable with. But it is impressive. I mean, he's a leggy guy, so he's got a short torso. You can see right here. God, look at it. He looks like Gumby. But that short torso makes it a lot easier to brace in that weird bent over position, because the back's rounded quite a bit. And if you're not used to putting out that much force in that position, that's trouble. You could see, I mean, he's a little leggy too, but you could see John Cole, like, he's really hunched over to be able to get in a position for this. That's an ugly position if you're not used to it. But it looks like they have their butt pushed into the back. So it's not even their spine taking on a lot of the load. It looks like a modified belt squat lift.
2,684 pounds, the total.
Yeah, it's just no thank you.
A pretty girl. And that's what's next. Commissioner of Power Paul Anderson, tell me something. Is it all shoulders?
Not really. In this movement, it'll be about 80% legs and 20% back, and these are the prettiest weights I've ever seen.
You can't fault the guy for thinking shoulders have something to do with the squat. You know, the weight's on your back. And I appreciate that he asked candidly. It's the norm for commentators to just not ask, and they'll just start making shit up. I also appreciate the era of strongmen that just called it what it was. This is a girl lift, and these are pretty weights. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because I'm just an old country boy, and I see no problem with lifting females. I think they should bring this back. I would just love if there was a strongman organization that just subverted the whole sport, and like Rogue is like more formal and proper, and you got the women next to the men, and everything's about taking the sport seriously. I kind of wish that there was just some irreverent, like, we're going to lift girls in cages. The guys are going to be wearing ridiculous shit. We're going to talk crap. We're going to have card girls. We're going to be drinking beers in between. That would be fantastic. If you want to know how to grow the sport, honestly, don't take it more seriously. Take it less seriously. But now we made an unholy alliance with the women's division, so that's never going to happen.
Ferrigno's hands cannot leave the bar, and he'll be pumping this with the biggest arm in our competition. A 22 1/2 inch bicep. And Ferrigno continues his pursuit of Bruce.
All right, remember when we all talked merciless shit about the Shaw Classic because of the nonsense 90-degree knee angle squat event that they had? I guess we didn't know how good we had it.
And here's the little man, Franco Colombo, 188 pounds. Franco has decided just to wrap one knee.
What the fuck did I just watch right there? Let's watch that again.
And he advances to the next round.
Good thing you got Tommy Kono and company making sure nobody used excessive knee bend on the barrel lift. Jesus Christ. Now also the weights here are low. This might be the only time in lifting history that they had the weights incorrect in the wrong direction, because you're going to see everybody struggle considering it's a partial lift and the weight's not that heavy. The only thing I can think of is that it was like shoddily made, so there's like a ton of friction or something. Either that or these guys are like just that out of shape.
Total weight, 526 pounds. And here's Bruce.
I hope so, man. I hate listening to girls jump up like,
Hey, come on now, Bruce. They can't jump up. That's not fair. You made it look easy last time, big fella.
Up.
Second effort does it.
Got it.
Yeah, I'd expect the 900-pound squatter to clear a 526.
He is going to drop out of the competition right now because he knows that he will still maintain his first place overall position.
Eat your heart out, Brian Shaw. This is the first cerebral strongman.
Now the commissioner has ruled that we'll add still another 40 pounds. So we go up over 600. And here's Cole. The power lift rankings, he's ahead of the great Alexiev of the Soviet Union. That's the combined total of the Olympic lifts plus the power lifts. John's total, 3,570 pounds. Alexiev, 3,390 pounds. And Alexiev weighs about 100 pounds more than Cole.
All right, I want to be like Team America here, but it's a little bit of fuckery. John's best clean and jerk was like a 430. Vasily Alexiev, it was like a 560 or something. Like a 100-pound gap in the Olympic lifts means a lot more than a 100-pound gap in the power lifts.
John, let's go. Come on, John, come on.
But it is not to be this time.
No, it's good.
Bobby's got a chance, and he made that look easy, didn't he?
This better be 1,300 pounds for the depth that these guys got to get to. All right, so Dayton out. That's not surprising. Ferrigno out. I guess for a tall bodybuilder, that's not that surprising. Patera had his bad back. I just noticed this. Look at the edgy text. It's like the SpongeBob meme. And I do like that they actually called it the girl lift. People want bar bending back. I'll let you bring back bar bending if we can bring back the girl lift.
Look how awkward those refrigerators are. Mike Dayton will win it in a time of 17.4, but Ferrigno must continue to come. He's in second. He'll want to make that tug-of-war final. In all of these heats, it's a race against the clock. He's competing with that bad back, and he must show at least a good, solid time. It's Franco Colombo. Mike Dayton's time, a 17.4, the time to beat. Franco moving quickly, and he's injured his left leg. Colombo is hurt. Franco to the doctor, who's tending to it, think it was broken?
They say it's broken, but I know it's not broken because I'm a chiropractor myself.
You know, I'm a bit of a chiropractor myself. And I think he went on to sue them after this, if I'm not mistaken. So much for bodybuilders showing that they're strong and athletic, huh? I'm just astonished somebody had the presence of mind to put the cage around the fridge, because that's not something they would do now. I've seen so many tires fall on people. I've seen people crushed by so many different things. Even Brian Shaw's stupid car leg press, I see some weld going and that just falling on people. So hats off. I think that saved Franco Colombo's life.
Features our overall point leader, Bruce Wilhelm. Wilhelm coming on. He's got a chance to beat Mike Dayton's time. And he does. Bruce Wilhelm, 17.2. Bruce, how did that compare with, like, the wheelbarrow and some of the other events you've been in with?
There's no doubt about it. This has got to be the worst, the ugliest, and the meanest event. But I hope that I'm proving that I'm the prettiest. I didn't come here to finish last. You know that. I came here to win this. And I'm in shape. The rest of these guys are not. Bodybuilders aren't in shape for this kind of stuff. You got to be strong. I'm the biggest man here, and I got to be the strongest.
All right, so we got through it. Now we're into the final. So they took the top 4 guys. The final is one event, tug of war. It's kind of cool that they went to a combat event, I think, if you're going to have one event. So you got the bull, the Olympic weightlifter, you got the wrestler, you got the bodybuilder, the Incredible Hulk, and then you got the offensive lineman. What a showdown.
Come on, Bobby!
Bob Young appears to be in trouble early. Young is down. But he is coming back. Ferrigno down. Lou trying to pull out of trouble. Young may win this with one more effort. He's got him. Bobby, 6 pounds.
Break my ribs on this, Wilhelm. I'm going to kick you.
Now that's far enough, Kenny. All Wilhelm has to do to win the $10,000 is capture this heat. Tommy Kono will start them. Patera's in trouble. He can't get any traction.
I told you that there is an advantage of being fat. The man outweighs me by 50 pounds. No, we don't got to go anymore. You know, he's been trying to break my weightlifting records for 5 years now. He still hasn't done that. Here where it counts, right in front of the people. He struck me like a wet rag. This is very disgusting. Bruce, next year, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to outweigh you by 10 pounds. You're going to have to push some, big man, because I'll be weighing 350 next year, and I don't think you're man enough to put that kind of weight on.
You will still come back. Your pride will bring you back against Bob Young, though, I know.
Well, I don't know. You think I should?
I think you should indeed.
Well, I don't know. I've got it won now. I don't see why I should strain. To train without strain is to train without game, but we got it made.
But it's the pride of being an athlete that will bring you out.
Somebody's been giving you a line.
Bob Young says, I can beat Bruce Wilhelm.
He did, huh? I don't think he's man enough. I'll go against him.
He outweighs Young. Bob is in trouble. And Wilhelm has done it again. This make you the world's strongest man?
There's no doubt about it. We're looking at him right here. Take a good photo here.
One great big yell out of Bruce Wilhelm.
Yeah.
Victory yell. Let me hear it. We should give Bruce 10 more points for that yell alone. And the total prize money that he takes, $12,162, including that bonus.
There you have it. That is the first World's Strongest Man. You had a lineup of absolute legends. The only complaint I have is that so many of them weren't in their prime. But not just the events, the showmanship, but like the lightheartedness, leaning into the spectacle without having to take yourself too seriously. And every single one of these guys are worth learning more about because each one of them had some special, unique position in the development of strength culture as we know it. So that's all I got for today, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Till next time, this is Bromley. I'll see you.